Hello, true art believers, and welcome to tonight's live art stream. This is Pierson. I am the #1 live art streamer in the world, and you are watching 400 Days of Drawing. That's right. I am committed to doing 400. What is it? What's it called? Like consecutive live streams in a row. So far I've done 300 and what day is it? 19. This is day 319 of 400 days of drawing, and we're just going to keep on cracking on this Bulbasaur here. Each day we're going to just basically make it a little bit better. Hopefully I'll get it done this week. Hopefully I will. So, anyways, without further ado, let's begin today's drawing, shall we? All right, so we got a few things we got to do here today. We got to basically we're just going to work on some blending of the Bulbasaur. We're just going to blend these colors in for the day. I hope I'll be able to get it done. I don't know. Let's see where I'm at right now. I got to find the layer that I'm on. Gosh, that's what happens with Photoshop. I got so many layers. Okay, here we go. This is the blending layer, which is basically I'm going to be using like an airbrush essentially. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be an airbrush. So let's see here. Let's test this out like that. Okay, we got the airbrush there, and we're good with the airbrush. Let's do this. All righty then. So we're on the blending layer, and we're just going to blend all these tones together like this. Just kind of blend it together using the airbrush tool. Now, this is something I'm not really used to doing, so it's going to take me a little bit of finagling usually. I'm just gonna kind of do it. Just kind of see what happens. Really that's what it boils down to is just kind of playing around with the tones and getting them to the point that I like where it's at. So we're just gonna fiddle around with it, see where it takes me, and so forth. It's going to take me a little bit of while to kind of get used to just jumping into drawing because I didn't warm up. So there's going to be like what would you call it? A learning curve, or a warm up curve here. So just bear with me for the next 30 minutes, and probably by the end there'll be something of I don't want to say like substance, but like something of like visual merit. I don't know. We'll see. I always say that, and then all of a sudden I kind of ruin the drawing. Watch me ruin the drawing for you. I wouldn't be surprised if I do. So I'm just kind of blending these tones together. I think there's another way of doing this, like it's a smudge tool or something. I'm not really familiar with it. I've seen it on I've seen it on like on YouTube where individuals will like use the smudge tool to create certain effects, you know, and I liked it, but I don't know how to use it in the sense that like the layer feature that I'm using right now. If I were to use that smudge tool, it would actually smudge everything. It doesn't discriminate anything. So it would smudge the ink lines that I have. It would smudge the other layers that I'm not on. So like it takes everything uh, as one um, layer. You know, this is going to take some time. I'm going to back out and kind of have more of a worm's eye view with it. I don't know. So with me, I'm like a weird artist in the sense I have to fiddle around with the drawing probably more than the average artist. Other artists will just like they just know what to do with it, and I'm always kind of like just kind of fiddling around with it until I get it to some like degree of where I want it to be. And I think that's a kind of like a curse and a gift all in one because like if I knew exactly like all the time where my drawing is going, I don't think I'd have. I think I'd have less unique outcomes, or maybe I don't think. Maybe they're not that so unique. Maybe I'm just like deceiving myself into thinking that oh these are unique outcomes, but maybe they're just like meh, you know, which wouldn't be surprising. You know, I'm not. I wouldn't be upset about that. So I think that's okay right here. So we're just going to blend these tones without introducing anything else. I'm going to go back. Apparently, I'm going to copy the layer. I'm going to go back and we're going to eventually we're going to go back and go over all these layers and just really tighten them up, you know. And then I'm going to fiddle around some textures. I'm going to go look through all the textures that I have here and see what I have to work with. Um, and let's kind of play around with some of them and see what I like. Or I might, or I might just kind of select one texture brush and see if that's something I want to play around with. Um, I don't want to go too. I don't want to experiment too much, but I do want to experiment a little bit. So my initial plan is to kind of look for interesting brushes, etc., and so forth. So we're just kind of playing around here. There we go. Just playing around, having fun, not really worrying too much. That's another thing. You don't want to turn your drawing into like this what would you call it? Into a you don't want to put it on like this pedestal, you know, where if it doesn't turn out the way you want it, you get angry. That's just like setting yourself up to be just not to be happy, right? It's really not the place you want to be in as an artist is to always to be kind of like, oh, if it doesn't look like X, then it's not worth the time of day. Well, that's just if that's the case, you're never going to get up achieve your expectations. You're never going to get to them. You're never going to achieve those high expectations because they're always going to be kind of raised ever so subtly, you know. So you don't want to be doing that, having high expectations. I'm not saying that you don't want to have high expectations, okay? You do, but you don't want those expectations to act as like a limiter to your drawing because it can cause unwanted frustration. And if your goal is to get better, you don't want to be frustrated. If you're frustrated as an artist, you don't want that because it makes drawing not fun, and you don't want to have an experience where drawing is um is a struggle, you know. Now, I'm not saying it can't be challenging. It's got to be a little bit challenging, but it doesn't have to feel like you're trying to lift the world upon on your shoulders. And sometimes when you're first starting, we kind of try to do that, and that's not a good place to be when you're um first starting out, or when you're an artist. Really, not first starting out, but just as an artist in general, it's not a good place to be. Is like constantly to be in the state of like, oh, if it doesn't look good, it's not good at all. Like if it doesn't fit your aesthetic or what you're trying to achieve, it doesn't it's not worth your time. And it's all about baby steps, right? It's all about just taking your time and just getting better each day. It's like anything if anything that you spend time on, you're going to get better at. Um, It might take you longer than others. Don't get upset if that happens. There's always going to be a learning curve. Everyone learns at different rates. Doesn't mean that they're better than you. Okay. It does not mean that they're better than you. Like there's this thing where like if you're not learning as fast as someone, like you're a dumb person. That's ridiculous, man. That is the most ridiculous thing ever. And schools kind of created that like mentality. They like categorize you with other people, and like you're like, oh, why don't you be like this student, like Scott? He's got A's. Well, Scott's boring. How about that? I don't want to be like Scott. Scott's a boring dude. Scott is Scott. He's boring at AF. You know. I don't know a Scott, so but like I'm just saying, just like we put these like weird weird stigmas on people, and if you're not matching that like level. I know what I'm going to do though, like later on. This whole area is going to be much darker, so I'm not going to really mess with this that much. So there's going to be a lot of contrast happening. I'm just modeling using the local tones that I have. So um, I'm not bringing in anything else until after I blend everything in. So if you're like, why does it look a little fat, flat, flat, fat, fat, flat? Why does it look a little flat? It's because I'm not introducing any darker tones or any brighter tones, and that's going to happen. Just not right now. I just want to make sure that I'm practicing this methodology a little bit more. So it's just going to take me a little bit of time just blending these tones. But yeah, that school really did has done a number, man. Like we we um we we praise these letters like they're going to be an indication of success. And here's the thing. What is an indication of success? You know, to some, an indication of success, is going to a job, going to a boring 9 to 5 job, to in a business that you're going to invest your life in, and then at the end of it, all is said and done, at the end of it, they're going to be like, thank you, thanks, and you're gonna get like a watch or something stupid like that. What there's no, it means nothing, you know. um it really is meaningless. And basically what the school is saying to you is like, oh, you got an A. It means you're smart enough to follow orders, and dumb enough to not question them. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little bit bitter. Um, there is something to be said about that though, like the 9 to 5 jobs, those standard business jobs, office jobs, man, they pay well. They pay well. I'm not going to say that they don't pay decent. You know, um, they don't. They're boring to me, but like that's just me. You know, I don't know. Like I think there's some utility in them, of course, but I think we uh, we need to let go of that a little bit. You know, because now you're not. I don't know. I'm ranting about 9 to 5 jobs and corporate world. I'm not even a part of that. All I know is it just sounds not fun. To be a part of it. Like I hear I have other people that listen to, have friends who are in that world. I'm like, man, it sucks. Like they get paid well. Like not don't get me wrong. I'm a little bit not envious, a little bit jealous, jealous of their pay. Like there's what they tell me. Like they tell me how much they get paid a year, and they're like, oh, I can't even make ends meet. I'm like, what are you talking about? You make that much, and you are able to. You're not able. You're like broke. you need to not go out to eat or something, or you need to figure out your finances or something. Because once I hear how much they make, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish like I made like half of that, you know. Oh man, I'm making myself sound bad. Or maybe I'm but then again, I have some a certain level of freedom that some of them don't, you know. And then again, they have a certain level of freedom that I don't have. You know, they have access to money and funds that I don't typically have. Like I don't have large reserves of cash like they do, or maybe they don't have large reserves of cash. Maybe they have a high salary and they just spend all their money. Like they see that they get their paycheck and they spend it. And that wouldn't be against the norm either. That's like most America does that, where they get their money and they spend it. They spend each and every bit of it, you know. And like I think like the fact is like what is it, like 70% of Americans or 65 or 50% of Americans are like 2 to 3 paychecks from like bankruptcy or something like that. Or so maybe a lot of people I speak to, you know, are in that same type of line. And that's sad because I have friends who make a lot more than me and I don't know what they're doing with their money. But you know, I hear what they make and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, dude, you're doing really, really well." And they're like, "Oh gosh, man, but I can't afford to live." I'm like, "What are you talking about? What are you doing? What are you doing with your way?" Like, it's like, "I'll tell you why you can't afford to live. You got this expensive car, you got uh, uh, these expensive hobbies, or you're doing certain things that are expensive, and it's like you don't do that. Don't do expensive things." You know, this like tighten up your butt, tighten your butt up. No, tighten your buckle your belt up a little bit, and you know, just don't spend on things that are irrelevant. I know we all think that certain things are going to make us happier. You know, that's why I'm a weird person though. I'm really weird with like buying things. Um, I don't think I deserve to buy things for myself, and it doesn't give me pleasure. Like some people buy stuff and they get like a dopamine rush or whatever. Me, if I buy something, I don't know. I get a little excited and then I get a little upset. I'm like, oh man, this was expensive. I don't. I think the reason why I get upset is because I don't think I will use that object or item enough to warrant me buying it. Like I don't think I will use it enough to actually get my value out of it. Like a car, like if I bought I was thinking about this. If I just like won the lottery and made like got $300 million and I bought like a really expensive car, you know, I would feel like, oh man, I couldn't drive this thing enough. I would have to live in it before I felt like I was getting my money's worth out of it. You know, like I think put it this way: my drawing tablet is and my computer that I use for drawing is probably the thing that I've actually gotten the most money out of, and probably my shoes. I have shoes that I'm waiting for the soles to literally rip off and then I'm gonna buy new ones. That's how stingy I am. I'm not. I don't know if I'm stingy. Yeah, I guess I am stingy. I don't know. I just don't like spending my money on stuff. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know because I just feel like I don't. I'm not gonna spend it. I'm not gonna make. No, not make, but like I don't think I'm gonna get enough value out of the object, so I don't buy it. You know, like I like playing video games a lot. I love it. I haven't played video games in years. So I love playing video games more than probably any person. Not any person. I know all I know is that I abstain from video games because I love it so much that I just don't play them because I know that I can get lost in them. So I avoid it. It's kind of like I guess like an alcoholic, you know, where they have to abstain completely from friends, from families, from events that are going to be like temptations in a sense. So, in a sense, I kind of abstain from playing games because I know what like rabbit hole it brings me into. I've done it. Like I was like, I'm not even particularly good at video games. I just enjoy the repetition of it. And that's what games are good at doing is they're really good at like sucking you in this like reward system, you know? And I yeah, this is not that bad. I'm going to end up tightening all this up and as time goes on, I'm going to make it better, but this is just like the blending of the soft details. But yeah, I don't play video games because of that. Like it just it really I can just get lost in them. And but I love playing them, but I don't play them at all, which is weird. Like I love playing video games, but I don't play them. You're trying to tell me that you love video games, but you don't play them at all? Pretty much. I don't. And I don't play any video games. Um, it's just one of those things that I've tried to avoid. The same thing like alcoholic. As I was saying, like the alcoholic, they have to stay away from the situations that they know are gonna put them in a tight spot. They know that if they go to parties, they might be tempted to have a beverage. Same thing with video games, and it's kind of the same thing with me with like buying stuff. I don't buy things because I don't. I see the value in it, but I don't feel like I'll ever like get the true value of it. So why would I? Because what I do is I see like the people spend their hard labor. People invest their life to make an item. Like people invest their life to make a piece of clothing. People deliver it. Life is used to create these objects, and I feel like I won't use it enough. You know, it's just a weird thing. I know it's weird, but it's just how I am. I just don't like buying stuff because I don't feel like I'm gonna get my money's worth out of it. And same thing with this drawing tablet. I'm going to use it until one or two things happen. Someone like pays me to use their brand tablet. If that ever happens, that would be super cool. You know, or if I like win a like really expensive tablet, or someone gives me or gifts me a really expensive tablet, and so forth. That's when I will change this tablet. But I'm going to use it until it breaks or until like support for it stops, or they like the pro like the Windows or the internet or the company stops providing support to that brand, like specific brand, they don't do updates to it anymore, et cetera, or you can't even use it because it's like become obsolete. I mean, technically it is obsolete, but like obsolete in the sense that the company's not providing any type of like support for the product, you know, and in a sense that like if this thing breaks or I'm not even able to operate it because the new drivers don't allow you to use this thing, kind of like how you can't use like old iPhones for some apps, you know. You can to some extent, but you got to like do some like weird backward engineering to it, but you can't do all of it. You can't use all of them. So like that's when I would probably switch. But with like clothes and such, I don't buy new clothes, man. I don't know. I want to buy new clothes, but I still don't feel like I've gotten my money's worth on my clothes I've had right now. They have to start breaking down really bad. Like that's gonna happen soon too. I'm gonna there's gonna be I don't know. There's gonna be something happening. Um, let's see here. Do another layer. What layer are we on? Press. And yeah, I'm a weird dude, man. Totally weird. I feel also bad. I feel that way with like food. I feel that with food, man. I'm no joke, man. I feel that with food. Like I don't like wasting food. And I wasn't like brought up that way in a sense. Maybe I was to some degree. My dad, wouldn't like to waste food, so I kind of like probably got it from him. But also like one of my jobs, I was no, not one of my jobs, but like I see this is what I see sometimes. I'll see people at like restaurants and they'll order a burger, right? They'll order a burger and they'll take one bite of that burger and then they're like I'm full. I can't even eat the rest of this. And they don't even finish it. And I'm like, dude, that animal gave its life so that you can take one bite out of it. I don't. That's a weird. It's a weird type of like. It's weird for me to think that. It's like that. I think that with chicken too. Like a chicken, a living creature, not sacrificed, but like lost its existence in this world, so that you can have like two bites out of its thigh, and then you can say, "I'm full. I'm so full. This is." And you're like, you don't even want to get a doggy bag and put it in for later. No, I don't like eating leftovers. That's another like what you don't like eating leftovers, but you're running out of money. You don't have any money. Come on, dude. You don't have any money, and you don't even eat leftovers. Come on, man. I don't know what I'm doing here. Sorry, I'm just kind of fiddling around. I bet you there's some textures that I can use that would really be beneficial, and I don't really know any of them. I might just kind of fiddle around. There might be a moment in this live one of these live streams where I just kind of like look at my like look through like my Rolodex of like oops of brushes and kind of pick a few and play around with the textures because I don't know which ones to kind of really use in these circumstances. But it is what it is, and this is all learning experience. So we're just gonna practice, and hopefully you'll get better, or at least get some wisdom out of it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of shoddy. That's kind of like the blending is rough. Um, not that good at blending, but it's good practice. Good practice. Let's see here. We're just gonna. So I'm not gonna spend much more time. It's almost I have like 10 seconds left before I can technically stop. So I really am trying to keep it at like a tight 30 minutes, simply because lately these have been just like really long, and I've done 400 of these or 300 live streams and counting, and you just want to sometimes you want to take a little break, right? You want to like take a break from these longer projected. So this is looking pretty nice. I'm going to tighten up everything later on. As I said, I'm just doing the local colors to blend, and then I'm going to add newer colors on top of that. And that's just my strategy for this Pokemon. I'd love to sit down and practice new things. I just haven't been able to recently. I've had a lot of. I've been wanting to do some like side studies in Photoshop and learn new techniques because there's a lot of them I just don't really. I'm not really. I don't really know, and it'd be nice to take a moment to practice them. So today is day um, 319. And so that is it. That is it for the day. We got the main Bulbasaur done. Now we're going to be doing the smaller like onion bulb, and then we're going to do the eyes and the little patches, and then we're going to start by playing around by tightening up the tones and colors and such, and then we're going to play around some textures after the fact. I don't know what I'm going to play around with, but I know that there's going to be some textures involved at the very end. And then I'm going to think about the background. I don't know what I'm going to do with the background. I'll think about it. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day. Let me stop this timer here. I hope you have a wonderful day. This is Pierson here. I am the #1 live art streamer in the world. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I wish you a great night. Cheers.